Hello, I'm Suzanne Harley. I'm the founder of Green Planet Films, and we distribute nature, environmental, and human ecology films. We work with schools and libraries, and for the public, we host film screenings. Back in 2018, I left California. I'd been there 37 years, and I moved back to my home state and into the town of Stonington, where we set up our office in what's called the Velvet Mill. And on the weekends at the Velvet Mill, they host the Stonington Farmers Market. So I was there one day in late 2018, early 2019, and a local writer, Steve Schlossberg, came over to me and said, "Hey, I've got a story for you." And he led me over to a table of Studio Farm. And Studio Farm, they sell produce at various farmers markets, but he said they used to, the previous owner was a film director back in the 20s, and he made silent films, cowboy films, and it's quite interesting. So he introduced me to the Wingates, and they said, "Oh yes, there's a remnants of a jail on our site." So that got me real curious. So I started researching, and you'll see the director Joseph Byron Totten. He's on the left, and then his wife Leslie Bingham. She was an actress. Then you'll see the studio farmhouse and a number of screenshots from the films he's directed. Joseph Byron Totten has directed quite a number of films, more than 30, and I researched each and every one of them, trying to find one film, one silent film made in this area. And it was very, very hard to do that because I just couldn't find any. Because 80% of silent films have been lost, according to the Film Preservation Foundation. But I still searched. There had to be one. So that led me to the Rhode Island Historical Society. They made a post back in 2011 that they were going to show the church with an overshot wheel. And it's like, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe there's one film. So I decided to contact them and see what I could find out. They said they had a low res digital version. And, in the early days, that's where they had it from. It was an MP4 made from a 16 millimeter print. They did not have the original 28 millimeter. And they sent me what they had, and it just didn't look so good. Here's some screenshots. So I decided to follow you know, this trail that they said that after Vitagraph closed, then Easton Pictures, um, held the film, and then it went into the Blackhawk Films collection, which now is held by the Academy Film Archive in Los Angeles. So over to that website, and there was no database that I could find. I could only see a contact form, and due to COVID, it said that everyone's home, working from home, fill out this form. Yeah, we might get back to you. So I decided to just keep researching the Church of the Overshot Wheel, and were there any other films um, of this O. Henry series? I found that there were 94 made with a deal with between Vitagraph and Doubleday, and only one other exists out of the 94. That's called A Philistine in Bohemia, and that is held at the George Eastman Museum. So, with the Church of the Overshot Wheel, to be very literal, they showed the book that the story was published in called Sixes and Sevens by O. Henry, and the finger literally goes down, the content page, the index. I still was researching, and I went to Studio Farm and met with the owners, Dick and Dot Wingate, on the studio. And Dick pulled out a box that he said there was documents inside that he said fell out of a wall that he'd opened up to repair. And these documents were letters, fan letters, just general correspondence, bills, receipts, and there was even one picture that it was like a burn pile, he said in the back, like a burn pile of like nitrate film. A lot of it was clear, but there still had some were just some slight images, and one was developed, and there was like a man holding a clapboard, the lower left here, so that was kind of interesting. And also, it looked like Totten, he would make a squiggle on a letter if you already read it. In the box, there was also an article from the Providence Journal, and it was just a story about Totten and the farmhouse and the various actors and actresses who came and some of the locations they used. And also there was a call out. The call out was a little part about, how there was a jail built on the property, and the jail was mostly used for the Mexican scenes. Um, and, here on the left, I took a photo late 2022 that shows that the bars are still in the windows. We found many interesting articles and ads. A lot of the ads were in motion picture news and variety. There were some articles. You'll see on the left, it was an ad by SNA. They were promoting the blindness of virtue and how you could book for your theater through them. And in the center is like a little story about the Village Homestead, which was a film that would have been completely shot on the studio farmhouse, um, because they found the remnants of like a some sort of distillery, some alcoholic distillery equipment still on the farm. And on the right, just a little funny piece about Joseph Totten, the erstwhile author and legitimate and stock and picture actor, stock and film director, and after trying everything else, has gone into vaudeville with a sketch written by himself. This just goes to show how much he wanted to be in the limelight. But meanwhile, the search continued. I really wanted to get inside a film database. I wanted to see the words Church with the Overshot Wheel. Meanwhile, I went to New York City to Doc NYC to see my friend's world premiere of a film called McCurry, and which was brilliant. And then the next day we were going to meet for dinner, so I had all day. I didn't want to go shopping, so I thought, let's see what else is playing at Doc NYC. And sure enough, an interesting and very on point film was playing. A film about the importance of film preservation called Film, a Living Record of Our Memory. And it's like, great. So I did go to that film. But before that, I went to their website, and their website was just rich with information. So I started clicking around, and that led me to the film archive list, and which led me to Wikipedia with a number of film archives. And then in the United States, at the top was Academy Film Archive. I knew I was at the Academy Film Archive before looking for Black Hawk films. And somehow, I don't know what I was clicking. I clicked a million times. I don't know how I got there, but I searched for church, and there it was. The Academy held the film, and lo and behold, opening up the record, I saw that it was digitized but not preserved. And there was another contact form. Dare I fill it out? But I did. I did and waited. The wait wasn't too long. Soon enough, I heard back from Joe Lindner. He's a film archivist there, and he said, yes, we have the church or the overshot wheel. Would you like to restore it? I said, yes, well, give me a quote. So he got some quotes over to me. The at film lab would they would do the restoration in their lab, and I said, okay, let's do it. We're on. Because we were spending money on it, we wanted to be able to like recoup some of our investment. So a way for a virgin to be our intellectual property, we wanted to add a score. So I went to Google and I just, to keep everything Connecticut, I searched for Connecticut silent film composer. And lo and behold, there was Donald Sosin. I couldn't believe it. He has been making scores for silent film since he graduated college. And um, so I found his contact, I sent him an email, and within 3 minutes, he had called me up, even from the dentist's office, waiting for an appointment, and said, I'll do it. So, yes, we have our score. Everything happened quickly after that, and now the film is ready for release. We will be having screenings, we'll be selling the DVD, streaming, all sorts of things. The world premiere was in October 2022 at the Mystic Film Festival. We chose this festival because it is local to us, and we would have a lot of the local people. We had the Wingates there. We had a sellout crowd, and it was a really fantastic article in the local publication, The Day. And we had Don come down, and he did the score, and he played live. It was just like a brilliant night. And Donald Sosin won the best original score for the film festival. So that was the icing on the cake. So there you have it. There's a brief overview of how we came upon the Church of the Overshot Wheel, story by O. Henry, and the steps we took to get it restored.